Two things I want to start off with before I go any farther with today's video. This Friday we're going to be in Hawaii, so Spokane, Hawaii boys. We're going to be out in Oahu, Waikiki. So if you're in the islands, keep your eyes peeled. Me and Kyle will be there hanging out at the McGuire's booth, and also everyone in Chicago. October 7th we'll be at Tuner Evo with the Hunt Company pop-up shop, and if you want to save some money on some tickets to Tuner Evo, check the links down below. That is October 7th. Hawaii is this weekend. Yesterday when we had Randy and the Eliminate crew over here, they were working on the BRZ with us. We got some work done on it, but we need to fine tune just a little bit more things on the car. My rear coil height is just a little bit too high, so I need to go back in and lower that just a little bit. And I know you guys just saw some BRZ suspension work, but I'm gonna bore you guys a second day in a row with it because I want to drive this car, and to do that I need to put in the work to get this thing back on the road. Calvin has similar things to do on his car today. Actually, it's just a big week of bags and air suspension.
If you remember last time when we first installed the universal air into my car, it didn't go as low as it did before. When they sent out new parts, we're gonna put it in. TJ's car has it, but we have to adjust his. So hopefully when we get these new bags, just the strut and bag, we gotta put the lower mount and the top hat on. But once this is in, the car will be back to normal.
The end goal for today is to go to the old OG spot MTS garage and get our BRZs up on that parking garage to get some photos, kind of end the video there because that's some old school shit right there. I told you guys this yesterday, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you a second time for those who really do appreciate this type of stuff. I'm gonna turn on the car and air up all the way, and rather than getting on wood blocks and then putting a jack underneath my car, I'm able to fit a jack underneath my car by simply airing up all the way. That is something that I am so happy to have back in my life. So when I switched to the UAS front strut, I'm having an issue with my end links. This is a very, very tall end link. I've never had any end links bigger than this in any of my cars, but the issue that we're running into, whether you make this short or tall, either the end link when you air out and air up, it will hit the A-arm, and you can kind of see like it's scarring right here. Keeps hitting. This is like the lowest point we're able to get the sway bar. And then when you pull it all the way up, when you turn the struts, the bottom of the end links will hit the bottom of the strut because there's so much threading. So long story short, I'm not able to find any good combination of length for this end link to make this setup work. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually just gonna get rid of this front sway bar. I'm not running a rear sway bar in the back, oddly enough. I'm gonna go ahead and take out the front sway bar in the front. There might be some questions out there as to why would you do that, or can you do that, or is that safe? Running sway bars is not necessary on cars. They will usually help with body roll and things like that, but it is definitely doable. I don't run sways in my 350Z. One thing you will notice though, when removing the front sway bar in a car, is the rear end will be a little bit more tail happy, but driving as a normal person, you really shouldn't have that much of a difference. So I'm gonna go ahead and just take mine out, make my life a little bit easier, and if I notice that the car just doesn't drive like it used to, or it just simply doesn't drive how I like, I might throw them back on there and find a different setup, but for now, I'm just gonna rip it off. All right, so to recap you guys on these rear struts, we ended up giving ourselves close to about an inch of too much thread on these coils. So I'm gonna go ahead and make this a little bit shorter. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna bring these threads up about an inch. I'm gonna go ahead and give myself close to an inch more on the coil. So from the top to our lock collar now, I'm gonna put them at about 3 centimeters. That was quick and simple. Reattached my airline, locked the collar. That side's done.
A few moments later.
I just adjusted both of the coils in the rear. They are ready and set to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and reprogram my airlift module to now have the new PSI in all the bags, because we have new bags now. They are not, oh my God, that is so aggressive. They are not the same. So for example, when I go to my last setup ride height, odds are the heights are not going to be correct and the car is going to be sitting kind of weird. Let's go check it out. So our fronts are way too high and our rears are way too high. Let's check the other side, make sure it mirrors that. Yeah, it's pretty similar. So I'm going to drop the rears down to maybe like 30 PSI. Yeah, so about 30 PSI, I like that driving hand a little bit more. And then my fronts, I could probably go super low. So I just changed my normal ride height setting to be this. We have 26 in the front, 33 in the rear. That's driving pretty conservative. I still have a good amount of space on the front to just prepare for any sort of bumps I can hit, anything of that sort. And in the rear, we're pretty conservative as well. So now when we air up all the way, we will have our monster truck to dodge anything that we could potentially run into on the road. And then we have our airing out when we want to be hot boy. So this is our aired out look. Keep in mind, we can't tuck too much because on the front, we're already laying on the frame, and on the rear, that's as meaty as we can go, but I'm pretty happy with that. That's the look that I like for this BRZ. So our setup is now complete. That looks really good. Let's go back to our normal ride height. Before we go out and drive this and see how it drives on the new back setup, because keep in mind, I haven't even driven on them yet, and this should drive so amazing. I have to do something on the RX-7. More in particular, I have to get the front bumper off the RX-7. I can't tell you as to why I'm doing that quite yet. You'll have to wait for tomorrow's video. I'm just prepping this for tomorrow. But I'm gonna spend some time on this and get it off, which sucks. If you know anything about RX-7s or FDs more in particular, taking off the front bumper is not very fun. So I'm gonna spend like an hour getting all this off, and then we're gonna take the BRZ for a spin.
1 hour later.
Okay, what's crazy, and I know I'm not gonna be able to show this on camera just because this camera's microphone will not be able to pick it up, but I used to have a lot of like rattles and clunks and a lot of just like weird noises that you just don't want to hear when you're driving your car. And I would get them most when I was going really slow in parking lots. I wouldn't really hear when I'm driving on the freeway or anything like that. Literally like from 0 to 15 miles per hour in parking lots and uneven parts of the road, I'd really hear it. I don't hear any of that anymore. All of that is completely gone, and the car is like soft again. It's not really rough and hard. It feels like my car is stock, suspension wise. And I mean that by the feel, not by performance, but I mean like just the way it feels. It just feels like comfy again. We are finally gonna make our way back to the garage, and I got Calvin behind us. We're gonna get some pictures, probably call it a day. Damn, son, taking over. We back, baby. Damn, we back.
Ooh, there's a race to sunset. Just me.
We got it, baby.
Ooh, TJ, I could smell that problem.
Look,
oh man, ooh.
Why is it leaking?
Yeah, TJ called me mid drive.
Whoa, it's smoky. But from where and why? It looks like that fitting, but I've tightened it like 3 times now.
Is that the only, could it be the oil return? I don't know. It's a smelly problem. And your turbo blanket is getting hot. Ooh, yeesh. Don't touch that, bro, it's hot.
Damn, look at that.
That is cooked.
Look at that. Dude, the blanket's destroyed.
I wonder what happens. It's like cooking the blanket. Is it the blanket that's cooking?
Yo, it's the blanket. It's the blanket. This whole time I thought I was leaking oil somewhere. Look, that's straight up coming from the blanket. Here, get down.
It is so cooked. Should we just try to peel it off?
Yeah, one thing that does suck about this spot that has kind of happened over the years, people have like found this spot from the videos, have like tagged it and done graffiti and litter it and make like a complete mess and do burnouts on the floor and stuff, and it kind of sucks. I actually got contacted by like, wasn't a law enforcement, but someone like from the community like emailed me, and I think it was real, and they like pretty much said that, tell you about this, Cal? They almost told me like I was responsible for it.
That doesn't make sense.
I don't know. But it kind of sucks. Know this parking garage now, and I think it's a lot through the videos, and they like people come up and damage it and trash it, which kind of sucks. Which is kind of the reason why we don't really come here anymore. But it is nice to come back here every now and then, and random car people just start showing up now, just like this.
No,
So
I don't think so. Oh, actually, maybe.
Alright, so I just drove home, and this turbo blanket looks like what is smoking. I guess the white insulation inside is what's killing itself. I thought it was originally this oil feed line, but everything's tight. I've double checked it, and when you stand at the right angle, you can see the smoke pretty much coming off the blanket itself. So I'm gonna replace the new blanket. If anyone has any recommendations of what turbo blankets to use, comment them down below. I'd like to hear you guys' opinions. Oh, I can see it smoking right now. I don't think you can kind of see it like right here.
And I'm feeling